About these tapes you're used to of me, they're fakes entirely, I swear to you. First off, they were an agenda, and which should be obvious by now, that they implicitly tell a few stories, a number of stories. It was a plan. One person could not be all of these things, and I am not any of these things, and these people happen to actually be directly correlated to these things. Uh, this was a plan conceived before I was born, allegedly blamed on who I was last life and who I was supposed trying to be this life by cheating somehow, which is actually the people doing this. Although generally speaking, all you see is me or testimonies about me. They really did it for money, power, glory, and sex. They didn't do it for any special causes. Hardly any of them, if any of them at all, and certainly don't act like they believe in any causes at all. It was in the name of good intentions and good causes, but this whole thing is a lie. It's a human sacrifice. It's a grotesque display of the usage of a human being, a human life, a living being, and just so happens to be a very special life that they were doing this to. Again, we'll probably try and correlate that to something else of which I've just mentioned. The people behind this are lying entirely. They're brutal as hell. So this is obviously not a good intentions movement or a cause. It is. So they probably are reverting in response to something like, well, it's an all-out war, and they'll give you reasons for it, but you're not going to find them, and you know as good as I do that this is basically to getting what you want, free stuff, almost free stuff. But they've been lying through me, so all you've seen is me and a grotesque display which either does or doesn't make any sense to you, and you either do or don't care. But I just want you to know these are not me. They possess me entirely at random to get key quotes throughout my life, mostly recently. Conversations, interviews with agendas and whatever, psychologies, and I'm dying, and there's this drama and there's that drama. I'm not a dramatic person at all. It's all one huge lie. They actually just took it, at best, they took a random human body, human life, and possessed it and created a bunch of fictitious tapes. They are entirely fictitious, almost no nuances me at all, no small details me at all, and certainly the general themes not me, and most of what you would think would be me or is me isn't me at all, if you even care 20 years later, or however long it's been that you've been doing this. They possess me at key times in my life, literally take over my body and get key quotes, get a boob touch or something, and the girl on the other side is in on it every single time. I promise you, even at that age, I'm always the same age or approximately the same age as the other person. I don't even know what they've shown you. They've intimated things. They blanked out my memory of all these things, or I don't remember any of these things, or something. None of this was me. I swear to you. If you even care, if you even honestly care, these tapes are nothing like me. I'm quite the opposite of them. If I knew what they were, I could tell you very specifically, but I don't. They don't tell me what's going on. I find out implicitly what's going on through things around me and through a couple of them try to feed me information here and there. Some people some major politicians have sort of come to my aid at times, and some major newspapers and major shamans and major Scientologists, but most of them have stayed out of it and have stayed where they can either benefit or not be involved, or perhaps are hedging their bets or whatever they're doing. But this stuff is not really me. Every girl was an actress at best. My family were actors since I was born at best. The truth is much more horrible. I've basically been a human sacrifice slave my whole life. I had no family. It was so brutal. I wasn't really fed that much. I didn't really get any water or much milk or anything. I mean, it's really bad. I'm not trying to get into details about dramatic, like, victim role stuff. I'm just telling you, it was so brutal that it's hard to believe. Do I have love for people? Did I not know a lot of this stuff? Yes. Now I know. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not vengeful, but I wouldn't be vengeful against them. But they've created a lot of weird dramas in my head that aren't there. I'm a pretty calm, placid person all the time. Right now I'm in front of the camera, so it's a little harder to be entirely calm and monotone like I normally am. But it's important that I get these messages out to you. You need to know these details. So all these good intentions are through human sacrifice and usage and consumption, just like the things they're claiming to fight. They want to become them. Some of them, quite admittedly, they want to take the power. They want to take the money. They want to take their slice of the pie, as it were. But they're acting just like these people at best. And truth is, they didn't actually work for it. It was not in their karma. A lot of details, and they have actually tanked the economy. They've tanked their own lives. They tanked their own karma. They're getting fatter and fatter and fatter. You might be getting fatter and fatter and fatter and having to do it more and more and more. and some details which you just can't ignore, that this thing has terribly backfired. But if you're totally used to it, you might not know what else to do about it. And the truth is, all you got to do is really pay back the source of it, which they got everything from me. In, not that I'm desperately seeking anything at all. But if you pay back the things, the material things and other things that they have stolen from me, it might be obvious. These tapes are obviously not me. That's the main thing I want to get through you. People who have known me have testified that they are me, and he did this to me, and they know how to make themselves cry. They're witches. They're fake shamans. They know how to do all these kind of things, and they've created this whole drama, and they're having a blast. And you're probably having a blast until you find out that this is going to backfire, and actually listen to these things that I'm telling you in brief, so that you can not fall down the same rabbit hole. And so these people might actually listen to me for once, and not fall further down the rabbit hole, which is not a good place to be. The kind of things that are happening to me are going to happen to you, at least in your own consciousness, epistemologically. Really, the things you're doing to me are going to happen to you. The things you're accomplished to are going to happen to you this life, next life, the next life, the next life. These are really key issues. You haven't stumbled upon an ancient, beautiful wisdom. You stumbled upon witchcraft. I'm sorry to tell you. And it backfires every single time. They castrate a man in a myriad of ways, or a few ways, or a myriad of ways, and all these ways obviously make me sexually unappealing, disgusting, not even thinking about it. That's the whole point of everything they're doing. It's just classic witchcraft. But very important people are doing it. Politicians may be involved. The politicians may be telling you different things too, like you need to stay away from this. Some Scientologists may be admitting some of the things I'm telling you are true. This is really bad news. You end up castrating. They ended up castrating themselves by castrating me. They lost their period. They got fat. If they don't keep doing it, they get really fat. They get really old. But it is still better to stop and face the karma in it. Just live a peaceful life if you can, giving back, instead of having to face this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. A lot of the things they've implied actually are really about them and about you, and not about me. None of them are really actually about me at all. So then they round it up and try and prove some kind of point with it, try to have some kind of rah, kick him in the knee, whatever it is, just this ridiculous stuff. And a lot of people are intimately involved with all the testimonies and ones leading you down the path and give me all the money and give me all the stuff. They don't care at all because they don't know what's going on, or they don't care, or they're going to depend on you taking the fall. They're trying to pass the buck in a firing circle, quite honestly. They're trying to pass the buck to you, to your next generation, to your kids, their kids, without you having known what it is you were engaging in. And so you probably taught your kids this, and they may be having kids now teaching their kids this, opening their third eyes. You're thinking you're into something special, and it is something special when it's done right. But this has not been done in an appropriate shamanic way. This has been done in a black magic way. So a few of the things you have are pretty amazing. I'm sure the sex is amazing. I'm sure the flying around, the invisibility, are amazing. But the economy part doesn't really make sense with the spirituality part. The money part doesn't really make sense with the spirituality part, and the having to rape and torture doesn't really make sense with the spirituality part. And a lot of other things don't really make sense if you look at it, if you care. And you probably are, it's gone on for so long. I'm 45 years old, and you probably are either one or two generations into it, maybe even beginning to have realizations of a third generation, 10, 12 years old, maybe 20 years old. They aren't having many kids, by the way. Their kids are dropping precipitously. Their sterility, they sterilize themselves in sterilizing me. I mean, it's 409 City. And now you're responsible for your actions, less so than them, but significantly. And they've done this whole thing and blamed it on me implicitly by having me on this website as if I'm preaching to somebody or doing something, and I'm absolutely had no fucking clue what was going on. I was trying to live my life. A lot of it was a train wreck because these people have overwhelmed me terribly, but I was never a bitch about anything. I was always a fighter. But I was never dramatic. I was never anything like these tapes. I've had it really hard. I've accomplished a lot of things. It was all stolen from me. I never was owned by women or trying to get women, or trying to woo women. Whatever this game is has nothing to do with me. It's obviously a reflection of your psyche, or your mother's psyche, or her mother's psyche. It certainly isn't me. And it's probably not you by now. If you're hearing this, you probably are so used to it that you could care less what these themes are. You want the money, you want the sex, you want this magic. But I'm telling you, it's something that you have to pay for. If you want to keep it, I don't know if you can at this point. It's very late in the game. And I've been the only one that I know of trying to warn you of actually how to pay it back. It's very simple. It's very karmic. You get what you pay. You get what you pay for. You get what you deserve. You have to pay for it eventually. Nothing is free, and all this stuff was not free. It wasn't a happenstance, homo superiority, or magic. It was stolen. Magic, it turns out you have to work for through a very long, hard process. It's called shamanism, as far as I know, or being a medicine man or something like that. I happen to be one, but I've been taken advantage of so badly it's hard to tell, and it may or may not matter to you. But there may be a few others here who would inform you, or a few who have groups of people who may inform you of what I'm telling you and flesh it out a little bit. But to have the kind of magic and kind of orgasms and kind of amazing stuff that you're having, economy aside, money aside, power aside, they don't go with spirituality at all. You have to work and get over all of your baggage over like 10 years of really arduous work. You have to have like no ego, no self. That's actually who I am, despite these videotapes. No ego and no self. You have to be absolutely philanthropic and altruistic. You have to absolutely be giving and loving to a T, to a fault, and not really ever make a mistake, particularly with magic or with power. And that's really not who these people are. It's probably not who you are. And I'm not necessarily saying you care, but just if you can care in the way that you understand, oh, I have to actually end up living like Brian did over a series of lifetimes unless I pay him back, that might make sense to you.